Hello and welcome to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes or Less Ship Review, we have the Aegis Eclipse, a mid-range stealth bomber. Let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. Starting with the Aegis Eclipse, I'm going to talk about the price here. This ship is a pledge of $300. In-game, it's $3,490,000, and you can buy it at Lorville. Now, do know this ship's in-game price will probably see a dramatic increase with the release of 3.23, as most ships will, because of the style of this ship. It is one of two ships in the game currently that shoots a size 9 torpedo, which I'm sure that'll change soon enough, but it is just quite a special ship. Now, that's stock, by the way. I'm not sure if other ships can shoot a size 9 torpedo if you were to, modify it in some way. I don't think there is, but maybe there is. Now, this ship is a stealth bomber, so you do have a limited amount of firepower, but it definitely has firepower. It has two size 2 CF-227 Badgers located under each wing, and then you have 3 size 9 Argos 9 torpedoes. Now, I do want to advise you, those torpedoes are cross-section, so personally, I would change those out if you think you're going to have a chance of going after targets that might not be that big in the first place. I have elected to go with the size 9 Seeker torpedoes, which are EM torpedoes, electromagnetic. Wow, I'm just trying to say that way too fast. But the Argos 9 does come stock with this ship, and they are at 395,620 damage per torpedo. That is enough to take out any ship in the game at the current point. That is insane. That is really insane. Now, this ship, again, it's a stealth bomber. It's got the highest or best stealth rating in the game. Well, one of the best. I mean, the Hornet Ghost might beat this one, but honestly, I don't think it does. Especially if you were to take the shields and turn them off while you're doing your stealth, reconnaissance or torpedo mission. It brings your EM rating down to under 3,500, which is insane. I've gotten the Ghost under 5,000 before, but this ship is just phenomenal getting it at that rating. And you can see why, too. Just look at the angles on this ship. Look how thin it is. Its profile is insane. And yes, the wings do fold out, and so it's just amazing. It's hard to say much about the design of this ship other than it just looks really cool. It reminds me of the modern era, stealth bombers in the U.S. military, and it just looks fantastic. And it really is a stealth ship too, because when you're up here you can't find any of the component access points, so it's just stealthy all around. There's no access. It's just needing its gold standard pass. The components aren't really hiding, they're just not available yet on this ship. Not that I can find, at least. Maybe if somebody knows the secret to it, that'd be great, but otherwise I just can't find where the component access is. Probably just not in the game yet. Now, if you were to go to the other side of the ship here, this is where you'd access the pilot's seat. You can also open the ladder, open the pilot canopy, and enter your storage. Again, nothing's really physicalized on this ship, so you would have to go here if you're going to access that storage. Now, let's talk shield and health points. Look at the way the nose opens up. That's just really cool. This ship, again, is a stealth ship. You do not want to be in any sort of direct combat. It's got a total of 2 size 1 shields for 3,300 total shield HP, and it is a bubble shield. What that means is no matter where you are hit on that shield, it is going to take from the entire health pool of that shield. So you will lose your shield. If I'm going to say that one more time, I might start a drinking game. But you will lose it quite quick. So you have to be very careful about staying at that stealthy distance, making sure you watch your radar and you don't get jumped from behind. This ship also only has 12,564 ship HP, so if you lose that shield, you're not going to be in the air for long. Not going to be in the air for long at all. This ship's top speed bottoms out at 981 SCM, so if you're thinking, oh, if I get seen, I'm just going to run, you probably could, just because of how thin this ship is. It's really hard to hit, but if you get unlucky or you get a really experienced pilot that knows what they're doing and can actually hit you, you might be in trouble, because you're not going to be out there for long. It's not like you need a co-pilot or like a wingman, because there's no co-pilots in the ship. It's not like you need a wingman, but I say it's probably preferred to have at least somebody close by to give you some sort of backup if you need it. Because it's a stealth bomber, and if you get spotted, you either got to get out of there quick or, eject. Outside of that, this ship does have 1,167 quantum fuel. It's a really random number in my opinion. So I'm kind of like, okay, sure. It can go a little bit of the, a distance before it needs to refuel. That's great. I found that size 9 torpedoes are very hit and miss. Depending on the target, half the time you're not going to hit anything. Maybe even more than half. Just because size 9 torpedoes move slower than slow. With that, it's hard to hit anything that's smaller than a 600i or a C2. Not impossible. You can definitely do it, especially if you catch someone off guard, but it's definitely annoying trying to do so with the size 9 torpedo. Now, as you can see, you do have 5 MFDs at the front, left center, middle, right center, and far right. And then you do have an ejector seat right here, so it's always good to have. Now, your Badgers do come with 126 rounds per capacitor, so that's good. You can lay down consistent fire if you really need to. I'll be honest with you, though. If you're laying down 126 rounds from these guns, you are already too close for this ship. Absolutely. There's no reason why you should be that close that you're laying in that much, unless you're attacking SRV that doesn't have any guns. It has 48 decoys and 5 noise, and then you do have a plethora of buttons and switches and everything. The interior design is just really cool, and then you have windows here too, almost like you're supposed to be in atmosphere with this thing more than anything, which I could potentially see that. This thing has a very lacking amount of thrusters on it. You could count how many thrusters this ship has on it with potentially 2 hands, 1 hand, which is quite uncommon for a spaceship in this game. Usually you have quite a few thrusters, but this one not so much. Now I'm going to go ahead and power on the engines and take off really quick. I'll show you those wings expanding. And now that the wings are deploying and my landing gear are going up, you can see this ship just really lays out perfectly. It is such a nice frame that you have here. I'm going to go ahead and deploy the torpedo here. As you can see, I did swap out for the Seeker 9s, so it is cool looking. Let me go ahead and reset my camera. It is really cool looking. I mean, it's a huge torpedo. They are just slow. I'm going to be honest with you with this review. This ship is one of a kind, so it's already going to get a high score because of that, because it fulfills a role that no ships really fulfill, right? It's a stealth, torpedo, bomber. Those are 3 roles right there: stealth, torpedo, and bomber. And this ship checks every one of them when other ships don't, right? So it's already going to get a higher score for that, but the fact that it has a low shields, low HP, it's slow, and you need to pretty much replace those torpedoes unless you're only aiming for massive ships with a big cross-section. I'm going to be a little bit harsh on it, too. I'm going to give this ship, honestly, an 8 out of 10. And I say 8 out of 10 because it's an amazing ship, and given its role, it is great and everything, but it's just there's so many weak points to this ship, too. I feel like this ship would be better in an org situation or with buddies. Because solo, you could definitely do it and have fun, but it's not something I would typically go around flying in just for the heck of it. There's got a lot of negatives to this ship if you're going to be doing that. Well, let me know what you think of the Eclipse down in the comments below, and thank you for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one.